And a heads up for parents as well. School officials in Bethel say a social media content creator was spotted interacting with your students. And officials say Mortza Shuk has been seen filming students singing and dancing in public places, giving his phone number to them and inviting them inside of his car. On Thursday, he showed up at Bethel High School after getting a text message from a student. He was escorted off campus and told that he would be arrested if he returns to school. School officials say there will be consequence if any student is found to contact him or invite him back to campus.